Hey, it's Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and this video I'm checking out Zero Hero. The lighting is kind of... I'll just put it right here so you can see it. There we go. Okay. Zero Hero. Yeah, so Zero Hero is a set collection game designed by Klaus-Jürgen Wrede and Ralf, published by Piatnik, who did send me an additional copy to give away. Leave a comment of something that's relevant on the comment section below the video, and be entered in to potentially win a new copy, a shrink wrap copy. This copy is not shrink wrap because I've been playing this copy. This is my copy. But there's another copy. That could be your copy. No, it's your. You, the viewer. Yeah, so Zero Hero is a set collection game. 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up. It says it takes 20 minutes. That's pretty accurate. So, yeah. Let me show you how it plays. Okay, this is a 2-player setup in Zero Hero. Each player is going to start off with 1 card that they can look at if they wish. They might want to keep it to themselves. And these small little things are called Zerones. Yes, there's a whole bunch of them here. And you see there's 4 Zerones that start off under each of these 4 pairs. The rest of the cards, you remove some cards based on player count. I think for a 2-player game, you remove 12 cards and so on and so forth. But you would separate 10 cards from the deck and then kind of flip them. We gotta have it the other way around. I should have it like this. The 10 cards should be like that, and then the rest of the cards should be like this. Because something happens once you get into something that can trigger the end of the game once you get into the last 10 cards. There are some different abilities in the cards, and I'll show you what those mean. So as I just mentioned, the cards with the flag. So once the card with the flag comes out into this market area here, that triggers the end of the game ends immediately. This card means if you buy a pair of cards that has this on it, the plus card, it means you just take a card from here and just keep it face down. So you're adding a bit of randomness and risk to the cards you already have laid out. You'll understand what that means in just a second. This card means if you buy it with one of the pairs, you just take a Zerone and add it to your supply. And this card means if you buy a pair with it, this means you are either giving one of your cards in front of you to someone else, face-up cards in front of you to someone else, or you're taking someone else's card. Not both. Either you're giving a card or you're taking an opponent's card. And that's what these 4, the only 4 ability cards mean. And this one only matters, the flags only matter once you get to the last 10 cards, but that triggers the end of the game. So a turn is relatively simple. On a turn, you're doing one of 2 things. You are taking Zerones from on top of a pair, or you're buying a pair of cards. So the first player, let's start off on the left side here. The first player can't buy anything because everybody starts off with 3 Zerones. Every pair right now has 4 Zerones. So all they're able to do is they're able to just take a Zerone from on top of one of the piles. That's all they can do. If and this will happen if there are ever more than 4 Zerones above any given pile, you can then take 2 Zerones instead of 1. Once there's 4 or fewer, you only take 1. So that was this player's turn. They took a Zerone, they're done. Player over here now has 3 Zerones. The Zerones above each pile are the prices for the pair. So player 2 could purchase these Zerones. So they take their 3 because it costs 3. So they're gonna add it to what's here. And then they're gonna take these 2 cards and they're gonna separate them by color. Or pattern. There's different patterns on them as well. So they're gonna have a stack of green here and a stack of red here. They also, one thing the rules, maybe I missed it, but you start off with a card that you look at. So I don't recall when it says you can use it, but I assume you just flip it over and make it one of your things. So I'll just add it to this. I could be missing something, but I feel like it didn't explicitly say when you can use it. And this side of, you wouldn't have this open, but this player has a 3. So once that happens, another pair is drawn from the deck here and placed here. So now this player has absolutely no money. That happens. And now this pair of cards costs 6 Zerone. Okay, but now this player has 3. So, this pair will be quite useful to this player here. I'll explain why in just a second. So, because there's more than 4, they can take 2. So now they have 6 Zerones. Back over to this player. They have no money. They can't buy anything. Let's say they take a Zerone from here. So now they have a single Zerone. Okay, so now this pair, costs 4 Zerones now. So now this player can afford it. So look, they take their 4 Zerones. I keep buying from the same place, but it's a coincidence, I assure you. Let's make sure we separate that from the pile. And now they take these. And this gets replenished. The whole trick of the game is, I shouldn't say trick, the whole point of the game is to get the most points. But you're going to score each column that is a specific color. 56 cards total in 7 different colors, each with the values of 2 zeros, 3 2s, 2 3s, and 1 4. The whole point is right now, this, I forgot about something actually. Let me get back to that. Because I purchased this pair and I have a plus card symbol, I have to draw an additional card that I cannot flip over. I cannot look at this card until the game is over. I should have thought about that. And I'll explain why. Once you have 3 cards of a color, just 3, the value of that grouping of cards are the 2 highest cards multiplied by each other. So 3 times 3 is 9. If this stays like this the whole game, this is worth 9 points. If I only had a 3, if you have a single card by itself, like here or here, at the end of the game, they're worth their face value. This will be worth 3, and this will be worth 3. As I said before, because there's 3 cards here, this is worth 9. You multiply the 2 highest numbers. 3 times 3 is 9. Over here, if this player kept this as is with just 2 cards, it's worth absolutely nothing. So you can only score a set if there's 1 card, it gets its face value, or 3 cards, and nothing else. If I add a 4th to this, it's worth nothing. If I add a 3rd to this, it could be worth something. If you end up having, let's say you had 3 0 0 here, it'd be worth 0. So if you add a card to it, it's worth 0. Because the 2 highest numbers multiplied make it worth 0, it'd be worth 0. So you want to get anything, if you have, you don't want to have 3 cards of a color and have 2 zeros, because it's worth nothing. You may as well put a 4th card there, because it's still worth nothing. So it does behoove you to try to get cards of single cards of a color. If you get a 4, that's the highest value. If you can keep a 4 by itself, it's worth 4 points. And that's sort of the flow of the game. Let's see, I got this pair throughout the course of the game. So I started another column there. I destroyed the 9 points I had by adding this 2. Although I still don't know what this is. So now this is worth nothing. Not great. Let's say I get this pair in. So then I add this 4, column with a 4. And now I have this 0 that has this ability in it. At that point, I can either take something someone else has. I can take a card and complete a trio and get a lot of points. I have a 3 and a 0. I had a 4, stealing it from somebody else. Hey, now it's 12. But I also can give someone something. So I can make this have value by using this power. Once I get it, you use the power as soon as you buy the pair. I would give this to my opponent. Yeah, I mean, in this scenario, I'm giving them 2 points, but I'm also gaining 9. I went from 0 to 9 because now there's 3 cards here. So there are ways to manipulate what you have. There's not a ton of these abilities, I'm pointing out. Not a ton of these, but they're of value. So that really makes you consider what you're picking up. I've had games where I played where every pair had this in it, So everybody was avoiding it because you're adding more randomness to the game. This could help you or hurt you. But at a certain point, you gotta just bite the bullet and just go for it and see what happens. So that's the game. The game is purchasing pairs, putting them in their respective columns, and trying to maximize points and potentially screwing people over. The Zerones aren't worth anything at the end of the game as far as I know. Yeah, there's a tie, everybody shares a victory. The only other rule about in-game scoring is whoever's the most zeros in front of them gets 5 extra points. So this right here is worth nothing. But having zeros isn't bad as long as you can avoid having 2 zeros in a trio of cards, because then that means you're multiplying 2 highest cards, which means it's 0. But having the most zeros do get you 5 extra points. If you tie for most zeros, everybody who ties also gets 5 extra points. So that is how Zero Hero plays. So in case you were wondering what that mystery card was, if you do recall, I had a 4, the player on the left side had a 4 set of just the 4, so I guess worth 4 points. So the actual card that was still random, that was grabbed, was a 2. So together, that is 2 cards, which means that they are worth nothing unless the third card came out. But yeah. So yeah, you want to have either a card all by itself or 3 cards and hope that 2 of them are not 0 in order to score in Zero Hero. My thoughts. I like this game. I like this game quite a bit. I've had fun teaching this, and everybody I've taught it to has enjoyed it. It's not deep, but it's also not difficult. It's a small box card game, and I feel like there's just enough decisions to make trying to avoid the cards that, hey, could complete my set, but also give me some randomness that will come out at the end of the game that could kind of blow everything up in my face. So just enough decisions to keep it really interesting. This is one that I frequently do. This is one that I do bring with me. I toss in my bag because I like it. I like the little wooden Zerone pieces, and it's a fun game. I do have fun with this one. I'm normally not like, it's not like an auction kind of thing, because yes, the prices, you saw me kind of focusing on one pair a lot, but the prices are going to fluctuate. At some points during some games I played, there were pairs of cards that had no Zerones. It was you can just take it for free. But keep in mind, if it gives you things that you might not want, if it, you might not take it because it gives you a 4th for a nice trio you have that could be anywhere between, I don't know, maybe it's a 12 or 16 pointer. You don't want that at that point because you want to score those points. You don't want to get 4 cards of a color because that negates everything you're trying to do. But I do appreciate that there is some mitigation, and one of the abilities lets you give somebody a card, which might might screw them over. You might give them 4 cards, or you give them, a second 0 for a set, and they're like, I like that stuff. It's fun. So Zero Hero definitely gets a recommendation from me. Very, very fun game. So that's it. All right, just gonna do it. Leave a comment. Be entered in to win a copy. I only have 1. And as I've been saying in all these videos, more of this. More of this. Anyway, that's Zero Hero. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, and be blessed.